Choppin with Chapman. On today's video, we're going to be talking about accents within permutations. So if you've played this instrument, you know that permutations are one of the best way to build chops and dexterity and control on this instrument. But it's very rare that I see students practice these with any kind of dynamic inflection, whether that be going from forte down to piano, then back up. Usually it's at that like mezzo forte, forte range. So what we're going to do today is take a few of these permutations and run them through some different accent combinations. So hopefully when they show up in music, you have a little bit more dynamic control over what you're doing. That way when melodies or bass lines or anything show up in these permutations, you'll have the control that you need to really bring those out. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a really simple permutation, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to move it around a 16th note accent grid. Really basic. So the first thing that you're going to play, you're going to start on any key that you want. I like to start with open fifths just to get really comfortable. And then we're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4 with accents on every downbeat. It's going to sound like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Super simple. Or 1 T ta, 2 T ta, however you prefer to count. The second thing you're going to do is place an accent on the second partial of that permutation. So mallet 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third thing you're going to do, place an accent on the third mallet. And then lastly, nice and easy, you'll place an accent on the fourth mallet. So putting it all together so far sounds like this. 4 times on each accent, all the way through the grid. Notice that when I'm not playing my accents, my notes are as low as possible. And that's just because in my own experience, I find that it's a lot easier to condense the difference between the accents and the non-accents than it is to expand them, right? If I'm only practicing this here, there's still a slight accent, but I find that it's much more difficult to bring those out in real life versus if I practice them with a huge difference. So once you get comfortable with that, the next step is you're going to take it through what we call the twos of this exercise. Basically, it's the same idea, except you're only playing each pattern or each accent twice in a row. Okay? That would sound like this. Whoops. Excellent. And lastly, we're going to finish off by playing what we call the ones. Basically the exact same thing, only one time through each pattern. That would sound like this. So you can already see we're building a lot of control over which mallets are going to be brought out within this permutation. Now the good news is there are 24 total possible 4-note permutations available to us as marimba players. So you can take this same accent grid through any permutation that you like. Let's try it with 4, 3, 2, 1. The whole thing would sound like this. Just pretend like I'm playing those non-accents really consistently. Right? Totally different motions, totally different second note double laterals with the accents that we were talking about. So it's a really great workout either up the keyboard or down the keyboard. Same thing applies for your single alternating permutation combinations like 1, 3, 2, 4. Whoop. Any of these work around these permutations. So the next thing to try, once you've gotten comfortable with those individual accents placed within that permutation, just to give our brain and our hands a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to play a triplet accent grid over this permutation. So in this case, we'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to accent every third beat, but shifting partials. Sound a little bit like this. because you're accenting. It's essentially the same thing as 16th note accent grid, except you're shifting it over by one each time, right? 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 1. Nice and easy. Cool. So with all of these combinations, in total, you have 24 different permutations of 4 mallets. And you actually have 24 different ways you can rearrange the accent patterns that we talked about in 16th note accent grid. What that gives you is a total of 576 exercises that you can work through just with those accents and different permutation combinations. If you want to multiply this, if you're working around major arpeggios, for example, same exercises apply, right? Then we actually get 576 times 12 exercises, which is a super big number that I can't count to. But you can see, just with these few ideas, we have a huge number of exercises that we can work through. Cool, I hope you found this helpful, and if you come up with any of your own variations or your own accent combinations, please let me know and I'd be happy to work through them or rehost them on my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for another Choppin with Chapman.